Good evening and welcome to My Point of View. My Point of View is a current issue video blog that deals with views and issues and events as it relates to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Caribbean, and the world. My name is Alan Palmer. Tonight I want to read two letters from the I Am a Victim campaign. The writer of the first letter asks us not to mention her name. So to protect her identity, we will call her Penny. My name is Penny. I am a registered nurse. At the time of the incident, I was dating a police officer who worked at the traffic department in Kingston. Because my boyfriend was a police officer, I became friends with some of his colleagues. One evening, I was at home, and I was told that someone was outside to me. I went outside and I saw one of my boyfriend's colleagues, Officer John, sitting in his car. I was shocked because we are not that kind of friends. He told me he was visiting a friend in the area and he remembered that I was living in the vicinity, so he come to see how I was doing. Officer John and I was outside speaking, then he suggested that I could have a seat in his car while we talked. As it was very uncomfortable standing outside and speaking to him while sitting in the car, I sat in the pinion seat of the car. While we were there speaking, Officer John suggested that we go for a ride. It was not my intention to leave home, so I resisted. He insisted that we would not go far and we will be back very soon. So I obliged him and I went for a ride with him. I noticed he was heading out to the Annisvale area. He drove down to the Annisvale playing field, which was very dark and lonesome. Then he parked his car. I asked him, why is he parking here? He didn't answer me. I noticed he was making sexual advances towards me, which I resisted to the best of my ability. While he was there, I asked him if he can please take me home, but he didn't answer me. Then Officer John forced himself on me and had sex with me without my permission. I tried to resist him to the best of my ability, but I was unable to. The next day, I went to report the matter, but I was discouraged from doing so by my boyfriend and my driving tutor, who was also a police officer. Today, that police officer, Officer John, who raped me, is a senior officer who never get what was coming to him. I would like to know how he treats people who have raped. He is no better than Scarface, because both this police officer, Officer John, and Scarface are rapists. As a matter of fact, he, Officer John, is most dangerous than Scarface because he has a position of trust and authority. Letter number 2. I will use only the last name of these people to protect their identity. My name is Miss Brown. On March 14, 2007 at approximately 2 p.m., I left home to go to a friend's house to collect something for my newborn child. In order to do so, I had to use the public transportation, so I catch a minibus. The public transportation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is run by private citizens. Unfortunately, there is no organized structure to the system. While traveling on the bus tire got punctured, and the driver said he have to pull up to the next tire shop to fix his tire, and he did so. In the process of the tire being fixed, the driver of the bus also stated that we could travel on because he has to wait his turn before he is served. I stood at the side of the street to await the next arriving bus. It was Sunday, and as a result, the bus was not running on the regular schedule. I saw a white car approach me, and the driver, a male, said, "Good afternoon, miss." To which I replied, "Good afternoon, sir." He then asked me where I was traveling to. I told him I'm going to the next village, Diamond. The man told me he was heading to the same area, and he offered me a ride. It is customary for people to offer non-drivers ride, especially on Sundays, when it is almost impossible to get the use of public transportation. I told him it would be greatly appreciated because I need to return home to attend to my newborn child. I got into the car and he started a conversation. The man introduced himself as Mr. Brown. He also told me he was a police officer, and he told me the name of the station where he works. He said, "I knew you since you were a child." He also said that he watched me grow and he knew my parents. I was surprised. I told him I did not know him. While approaching the junction where I was to get off, I pointed it out to him and told him to leave me at the third house on the left. Then he said to me, "I was watching you for a long time and I have to have sex with you." I was shocked at the sudden turn of the conversation. He drove past my stop, and as a result, I began to beg him not to do this because I just had a child 2 days ago. He said to me, "I don't care, I want it." He locked the door of the vehicle from the driver's side and drove off with a speed. I begged and I cried, fought back with him, but it was no use. He tied my hands and taped my mouth, and he tied my feet. Then he proceeded to have sex with me. When he was finished, he told me he was going to throw me in the landfill, and I began to cry and beg him not to do that. He saw the security officer. He turned back and drove off. I jumped out of his car in order to get away from him. At this time, I was naked. The security officer helped me. I managed to make it to my destination. I reported the matter to the police. There was an investigation and Officer Brown was arrested and suspended from duty. After which I moved to Trinidad and Tobago, where I now live. I had to return from Trinidad and Tobago on several occasions to participate in the trial. On each of my appearance, the matter was adjourned to a later date. Unfortunately, the matter was subsequently dismissed when I was unable to travel from Trinidad and Tobago to attend the court trial because of a lack of funds. These are 2 cases of rape, and unfortunately, the aggressor, the rapist, was the people who were paid to protect the victims, the police officers. This is Alan Palmer, and this has been an issue from I Am a Victim.